Shalom, shalom. It is Monday, July the 6th, 2020. This is my second video for today. And if you're new to my channel, my name is Daniel Lee. I live here in beautiful Juneau, Alaska. Decided to take you out to the forest again today. And my mission statement is very clear. I preach and teach the Hebrew Jewish roots of the Christian faith on my website, spiritandtorah.com. I exalt Yahshua, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. He is the only way, truth, and the life. I expose satanic pedophiles through investigative reporting on my YouTube channel. I've been doing this now for almost 2 years. I provide satanic ritual abuse survivors a platform to speak out on. I protect the innocent children by virtue of these other things, and I lead a nightly Zoom room prayer meeting where we pray for President Trump, this nation, other subscribers, each other, and we will be happy to pray for you as well. All right, so the first thing I want to report on is a big headline from July the 4th. Italy breaks up a child abuse ring that shared images of babies. Police say material, including photos of acts with newborns, shared on a well-known instant messaging platform. Italian police say they have broken up a child abuse ring used to share illicit material, including photos of newborns, via an instant messaging platform. Police said on Saturday that the crackdown involved dozens of search warrants and led to the arrest of 3 people for allegedly possessing what was described in a statement as, quote, huge quantities of pornographic material depicting minors. About 50 people are now under investigation. The police statement said investigators had discovered photos of nude minors and other horrifying content depicting actual sexual violence where the victims were often newborns. This is just, again, almost beyond... It is beyond our ability to comprehend such horror. Police said some of the images had been produced at home. Material was exchanged on an instant messaging platform that investigators did not identify, except to say it was well known. Interesting. I wonder which platform that was. So, hallelujah, that this horrific satanic pedophile ring was broken up. In the D.C. Dirty Laundry, this was published today, July 6th, it says, in college, Joe Biden was known to be a pedophile. Now, we've seen all the clips of him sniffing little children and everything, and so this has long been suspected. But Baxter Dimitri reports for News Punch that according to Paul Tatchell, a roommate of Joe Biden at the Syracuse University College of Law, Biden admitted he was sexually attracted to children. Now, this was an article from News Punch way back on April 3rd of 2019. I never heard about it. I don't know if you guys ever heard about it, but DCDirtyLaundry.com is bringing it up again. It'd be really interesting if this Tatchell guy would be willing to testify under oath about this. He continues to go on. Tatchell reportedly said that Biden used to say it was his civic responsibility and that if he didn't, quote, choke the chicken or clean the horsepipe before spending time around children, he wouldn't be able to keep his hands off of them. All right, so this is what Biden's roommate is actually saying, as reported by New Punch back in April of 2019. The guy is, I don't think we can even say alleged pedophile anymore. The evidence just continues to pour more and more out about who this guy really is. Now, I got a interesting PDF file from a subscriber in Canada who showed me the letter. This was a copy of the documents delivered to the U.S. Embassy addressed to Donald Trump requesting an investigation to the corruption of Justin Trudeau. Remember, I reported on this last week, where on Canada Day, they took this to the embassy. I'm going to read parts of this here. It says, gentlemen, this letter is a formal request for an investigation into the corruption in Canada. We want this investigation. They want it to be conducted by the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, and the President of Mexico, in accordance with Canada's agreement to combat corruption under Section 27 of the USMCA. Remember, they were celebrating that the USMCA finally came into effect officially on July 1st. And furthermore, to ensure compliance with the G20 high-level principles. The following document is divided into 3 sections. The first section calls attention to the systemic abduction of children. The disregard for our criminal laws by our government and private agencies permits child abduction, a gateway to child sex slavery. We must intervene on behalf of our children to stop the multi-billion-dollar intercontinental child trafficking enterprise. This sensitive issue is of the most important section. The second section focuses on the corruption in the business market, done with the support of the government and Royal Canadian Mounted Police. It involves fraud, systemic obstruction of justice, and conspiracy to obstruct justice. And the third section pertains to the fraud against injured workers by the workers' insurance programs and the misappropriation of funds that are raised in trust for medical and income support in the case of injury and on the job. So this is a very, very interesting document. It's about a 6-page document. Now, I don't have a way to link this below the video because it's a PDF document. What I think I could probably do is try to take screenshots and then post it on my Twitter feed. So I'll try to do that and see if I can link to that. But the conclusion of this says, under the rule of law in Canada, not the government, not the Prime Minister or any minister, not the Queen or the Governor General or any Lieutenant Governor, not the most powerful bureaucrat, not the armed forces, not Parliament itself, or any provincial legislature is above the law. Under the rule of law in Canada, no independent governing agency has power except those given to it by law, by the Constitution Acts of 1867 and 1982 or their amendments, by a law passed by Parliament or a provincial legislature, or by the common law of England, which we inherited, and which, though enormously modified by our own Parliament or provincial legislatures, remains the basis of our constitutional law and our criminal law and the civil law, property and civil rights of the whole country except Quebec, which has its own civil code. Our liberties are not safe if we allow anyone under our Constitution to be above the law. In conclusion, a formal request for your attention and assistance in launching an in-depth investigation is respectfully before you. Now, in this first section, which he details is about the systemic corruption and child abuse, I want to just go into this a little bit here. The violations they list are 5. 1, law violations pertaining to the Criminal Code of Canada. Children taken from parents based on risk, not actual harm, is kidnapping. Number 2, law violations pertaining to the Criminal Code of Canada. Children killed, neglected, and abused, sex trafficked, and foster care. 3, law violations pertaining to the Criminal Code of Canada. Human trafficking. 4, infringements of the Constitution. And 5, infringements on Charter of Rights and Freedom. So this continues to go on about the different abuse of children that have been going on under the Trudeau administration in the courts. One section here under this is the courts do not uphold the constitutional rights of parents and their children. Local, provincial, and federal police, the provincial and federal courts, and the provincial and federal governments, including Justin Trudeau, are complicit in regard to these matters. Affidavits from a multitude of victims of these crimes will be provided. So awesome, awesome stuff that these patriotic Canadians are demanding that President Trump and the President of Mexico investigate Canada based off the requirements of the USMC. Now, this was sent to me by my good friend Noah. He has the website welovetrump.com. I encourage everyone to go out there and check out his website. He has actually been plugging me and trying to get people to be aware of my backup channel, so I'm really grateful for that as well. But he sent me an article which is really interesting. It says, Disney under fire for woman-boy kiss in the movie Blank Check. Some call it child abuse. Disney has been in the news a lot recently, and I know many of you do not trust this company. From rumors dating back to illicit behavior by Walt Disney himself to inappropriate things in videos, it looks like we have another item to add to the list. Remember the movie Blank Check, a seemingly innocent movie about an 11-year-old boy getting a check for $1 million. All in good fun, right? Well, not according to people who went back and watched the movie as adults. Multiple people have taken to the internet horrified at what passed for a Disney movie in Blank Check. Think this is all just overreacting? Maybe. Or perhaps it's conditioning of the general public and people don't really want to be conditioned to the idea of pedos. Just saying. And it shows an actual clip where this grown woman kisses an 11-year-old boy. I'm not going to show it on this video, but I'll link to this article below and you guys can watch the video yourself. It's pretty disgusting, but I guess we shouldn't be surprised that Disney would come out with something like this based off the exhaustive amount of videos that I've created over the last 2 years showing the pedophilia in so many different levels of Disney. Another article, this was published 2 weeks ago. Florida pro wrestling school outed in speaking out for employing people with child sex offenses and abuse. The speaking out movement has uncovered that an Orlando pro wrestling school currently employs a number of people with previous abuse charges. Some of them are sexual offenses with children. Chassin, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his first name, Chassin Rance is the owner of Team Vision Dojo of Orlando, Florida. He was convicted of sexual battery of a child in 2011. His story is already public knowledge, but it turns out that his dojo also employs people with questionable backgrounds. Released screenshots from text conversations show that Team Vision Dojo staff members Aaron Epic abused his girlfriend. A chilling text conversation from the next day shows that he felt bad about what happened. PW whistleblower also tweeted out to warn fans of another risk at Team Vision Dojo. Russell Payne has several past sex offenses against children. He is still able to operate at the dojo. Caution to fans visiting the Orlando area for WrestleMania week. While not breaking news, it has come to our attention that Team Vision Dojo is run by and knowingly employed convicted sex offenders, including Russell Payne, who has several sex offenses to children. Another former Team Vision Dojo student tweeted out saying, "I came from the dojo. It can be a very scary place." As the speaking out movement continues, it will hopefully educate people on places they need to avoid. It seems Team Vision Dojo isn't the safest place in Florida. And then they show a lot of different tweets actually put out by different whistleblowers and young people that have attended this dojo that say stay away from it. So I wanted to report on this. I'll provide a link for this below the video. Now we have a really good decision from the Supreme Court. They had a ruling on the faithless electors, and this was the whole story back in 2016, that when a state, had a majority of its population vote for president, then the electors, of course, in December, they go to cast their ballot. And some of the electors were saying, well, even though our state voted for Donald Trump, we don't want to have to vote for Trump. Well, the Supreme Court said that you do. That if your state, if you're selected as an elector, and if the majority of your state throws its weight behind, say, Trump or Biden in this case, you are bound to vote based off what the majority of the population in your state voted for. So it's maintaining the integrity of our electoral college, which is a good thing. The liberals desperately were hoping that they could prevent Trump from going to the White House back in early 2017 after he won the election in November of 2016, because they thought they could sway some of these electors to say, well, you don't have to actually vote for how your state population voted for it. But the Supreme Court said, nope, you do, you have to, and it is law. So that's a very good victory for us and for the rule of law. Another interesting article from Natural Blaze. This is published yesterday, July 5th. A Texas doctor reverses coronavirus symptoms in 100% of cases with an inexpensive treatment. Texas family doctor, Dr. Richard Bartlett, joins Debbie Georgatos on her show, American Can We Talk, to discuss a potential COVID cure. Dr. Bartlett describes how he has been treating COVID-19 patients with a 100% success rate using an inexpensive, safe treatment that is commonly used for people with asthma. The treatment is inhaling a steroid called budesonide using a nebulizer. Dr. Bartlett says many patients experience rapid relief from COVID symptoms after the first treatment. It's the same treatment that worked in crowded countries like Taiwan, Singapore, and Japan, who've had very few deaths compared to countries that locked down. Therefore, Bartlett questions the effectiveness of mandatory masks, social distancing, or a vaccine. He explained that a vaccine is unnecessary because the mortality rate is so low and effective treatments already exist. And he emphasized that vaccines would be ineffective because of constant mutations to the coronavirus. The beautiful thing about the treatment that I'm using is that no matter how many times it mutates, it's universally going to work because it decreases the inflammation. It's a respiratory anti-inflammatory solution to a respiratory inflammatory problem. And then there's a video here, it's about 30 minutes long, where she interviews Dr. Richard Bartlett, and you guys can watch that at your own leisure. Finally, this horrific story from Seattle. A Black Lives Matter protester dies after she stood on interstate in Seattle at 1:30 in the morning and was struck by a black driver. 2 women activists were hit by a car in downtown Seattle early in the morning on July the 4th. The women activists were standing on the interstate at 1:30 in the morning. The protesters were wearing black on the dark highway at 1:30 a.m. The car suffered front grille and windshield damage. The driver was in custody but was not impaired when he hit the women on the highway. The driver was later identified and doxxed by Antifa. Well, it turns out the local Antifa called him a racist monster for mowing down these 2 women, but it turns out the driver is black. Now, again, if you think about this, 2 women dressed completely in black, standing on an interstate at 1:30 in the morning. To be honest, I don't know how they could not be hit by this driver. But Antifa's making a big deal out of it, saying, oh, you know, this was someone that was just purposely going out to murder them, when actually it probably was likely an accident, and it was done by a black man. Okay, so I don't think it was, you know, any type of racial motivation here. So just showing the insanity, again, of the whole BLM Antifa nonsense that hopefully will be petering out here soon. All right, if you like what I'm doing, if you appreciate what I'm doing, if you think I'm working hard and I deserve to be paid, this is my full-time career, which I love. I love doing what I do. So if you want to help me out, the easiest way to do so is through my PayPal. That is a link right below this video. That's the easiest way to send me a donation. I also have a Patreon. That's a link below the video as well. The way that works is you click on it, you can pledge any monthly amount you'd like, and then that amount is taken out of your bank account at the beginning of each month. If you're old school and you don't want to use the internet to send a donation, that's fine. You can send me a donation through good old-fashioned snail mail. My P.O. box is located below the video as well. If you have a prayer request and you want our prayer team to pray for you, we will be happy to do so. Just make sure you email me. My email is in the description box below, but you do have to unfold the description box, kind of scroll down through the links. You'll eventually find my email address. You can email me your prayer request. I'll get it to our prayer team and we will pray for you. Also, I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what would be a good alternative to YouTube in terms of a backup channel for myself. Obviously, I have this backup YouTube channel, but after searching all these different video platforms, it looks like the best one is BitChute, and I already have a BitChute channel. So my BitChute link is also in the description box below the video. So don't forget to click on that and subscribe there. I have about 500 subscribers there on my BitChute, and I will try to be good about uploading my videos onto BitChute on a regular basis. The only problem with BitChute, it just takes a really long time to upload videos on it. All right, guys. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday. Shalom, shalom from beautiful green Juneau, Alaska.